Something happened yesterday that I was really surprised about. Kind of surprised me. It just kind of came across because it was big news. What was it? Well, yesterday, President Trump and his family was at the National Cathedral on Tuesday during a traditional prayer service. Okay. Um, and this was because of the inauguration. And I guess Trump doesn't really know what happens when you go to a church. Because usually people are like, say, I felt like the minister was talking to me. You hear that a lot, especially in the black churches. I felt like he was talking to me. Well, turns out that in this particular case, um, Bishop Budde, um, well, she was talking to Trump and his family. Um, and she made a statement. Let me read to you what her statement was. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. Okay. And then she also talked about the immigrants. She says they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes, they are good neighbors, they are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, temples. She also asked that the president have mercy upon them, on all those people in this time. Okay? Because pretty much Trump right now has been doing what he promised that he was going to do. Okay? He said, hey, we're only recognizing two sexes. That was a shot, grazing shot to the transgender people. Shout out to Bruce Jenner, who's now has to be Bruce Jenner. Okay. And then also we know about his threats of mass deportation. And so you go to a church and you're saying all these things for like 4 years, what you're going to do, mass deportation, mass deportation. You win. Yes, you won. But then you go to a church and you expected the bishop or the minister or the reverend not to say anything about all the things that you said you were going to do. It's generally not how churches work. You know, generally they speak to your soul. The reverend, the minister, the bishop in this case, they speak to your soul. And yes, she spoke to Trump and his family's soul. You have to sit there and watch it and listen. She spoke truth to power. And then today, Trump asked that she apologize, or he actually demanded that she apologize. And, the bishop was like, nah, I ain't apologizing. So this is an interesting situation because, I'll be honest with you. I am deeply entertained by politics. I generally read a lot. I keep up with politics. It's something that was done in our family. Okay, my parents raised me up on politics and reading and the news, current events, and then I tell people all the time. I used to work for the government, so I used to work for LA County. So politics is nothing new to me. But after this past election, honestly, I did say I was sitting out for the next 4 years. I said, hit me up in 3.5 years. Like, you can literally hit me up at the last minute and I'll see who's running at that time, right? For national politics. Local, no, I'm staying, involved. But for national, for the presidency, hit me up in 3.5 years, right? All right. Because and I'll be honest with you, I did feel a certain way, with the voting population. I did feel like, there were a lot of, European women who voted against their interests. I kind of expected that European men were going to vote for Trump because I just didn't see them voting for, Vice President Harris. I just didn't see it. I mean, you can say like, oh, you shouldn't assume. Nah, I just didn't see it. I'm assuming. Okay. And I was also disappointed with the number of, you know, um, political minorities. That is the correct word. Not population minorities, but political minorities that decided not to vote. They voted for the couch because, of very, to me, dumb reasons. Like, you don't vote for someone because you think they're not black enough. That was my community. And if you thought that Donald Trump was going to save the Palestinians, then you don't know Donald Trump. And he was not going to, he has not. And he said the first day, I hate our war. I don't care. Okay. But I'm not surprised. So a lot of these people voted for couches, or they voted for Jill Stein, or they voted for Dr. Cornel West, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, but I don't like the fact that he did that. He ran. For what reason? Okay. I think that was narcissism. I want to be in the history books. I ran. Anyway, so I basically bailed out. I ain't gonna even lie. I bailed out. I was like, hit me up in 3.5 years. But I find this interesting that this bishop has taken upon herself to take the first shot. That was a shot. I mean, you have to see the photo. Trump's whole family was there, and she was talking directly to them. She didn't say it in a generic, like, hey, we all must get. No, she said, Mr. President, let me talk to you. And she looked him in the eye and didn't flinch. I had to respect it. Now, what's interesting to me is that she wasn't African American or one of the political minorities. She's European American. So for me personally, that's what I want to see. The people who put him into power, what are you guys going to do? Are you, enough of the people who are in opposition who did not vote for him? I think we need to sit out. You people who put him in power, you guys need to like look at yourselves and look at Trump and decide, is this the America that you guys want?